All right, let's dive into something really fascinating that's happening in the real estate industry right now. It's a bit of a paradox, actually. We're seeing some key profits go down, but at the same time, overall earnings are on the rise. And no, that's not a mistake. It's actually a pretty powerful story about how businesses are adapting under pressure.
So this is the central puzzle we're going to unpack today. Gross profit, the money a company makes from its main services, is getting a little soft. But somehow overall earnings are getting stronger. So how on earth is that possible? Let's break it down. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. It's like a financial tug of war. On one side, you've got gross profit margin, which is trending down. But on the other side, you have EBITDA, a really key measure of a company's financial health, and it's actually trending up. These two things are pulling in completely opposite directions.
So first things first, let's talk about that dip in gross profit. It might look like a tiny number, but trust me, its impact is absolutely huge. This is really the first piece of the puzzle we need to understand.
Here's the number that's causing all this commotion: a 2% drop. Now, I know, 2% doesn't sound like a lot, does it? But see, after years of this metric being rock solid and stable, a sudden dip like this for 2 months in a row, well, that's a major signal. It's the first real shift we've seen in a long time.
And this is why that 2% matters so much. A lot of companies in this space are working with a net profit margin of maybe 4 or 5%. So think about it. If you lose 2 of those percentage points right off the top, you could be wiping out a massive chunk of your final earnings. It's a direct shot to the bottom line.
Okay, but that drop is really only half the story. That pressure on margins is very real, but it's forcing a really fascinating reaction. So now let's flip the coin and look at the other side of this whole equation. That surprising strength we're seeing in overall earnings.
To really get this silver lining, we have to talk about something called EBITDA. Yeah, I know, it sounds like a bunch of financial jargon. But really, all you need to know is it's a great way to check a company's pulse, to see how much cash its operations are generating. And right now, that pulse is getting stronger, directly fighting back against that dip in gross margins.
So how are they pulling this off? What's the secret? Well, companies aren't just sitting back and accepting lower profits. No way. They're getting scrappy. They're becoming incredibly disciplined, looking at every single dollar they spend and taking back control of their finances. And that's what's protecting their cash flow and pushing those earnings up.
Now, of course, a big industry-wide shift like this never hits everyone the same way. When you start digging into the data, you see a pretty familiar pattern emerge, a really clear split in who's doing well and who isn't.
And there it is. The companies that were already profitable are managing to navigate this pressure way more effectively. Meanwhile, the ones that were already struggling are feeling the squeeze even more. It just goes to show you the real value of having solid financial controls and a bit of scale to lean on.
But, and this is key, this doesn't mean the industry is permanently splitting in two. Historically, when you look at the long-term trends, both of these groups have always moved together in the same general direction. So this tells us we're not seeing the industry fracture. It's more like a market-wide recalibration that's affecting everybody, just in different ways.
Okay, so let's put all the pieces of our puzzle back together. You've got the margin pressure on one side and these new efficiency gains on the other. So what does this all mean for the industry as a whole? What's the big picture here? The big picture here isn't one of weakness. It's a moment of adjustment. You know, that old saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger? That's kind of what's happening. This pressure is basically acting as a catalyst, forcing companies to make smarter decisions and build tougher, more resilient businesses for the long run.
And I think this quote just sums it up perfectly. The main takeaway is not to panic. This isn't a sound the alarm bells moment, it's a pay attention moment. It's a really valuable signal, an opportunity for leaders to look under the hood and strengthen their operations from the inside out.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. As these pressures continue, it's worth asking yourself, are these challenges forcing a genuinely positive change in your own operations? Is your business becoming fundamentally stronger and more efficient, or is it just getting leaner? Because there's a world of difference between the two.